What's good, YouTube? Staying with Ultraman, but moving over to action figures, we're going to be taking a look at a couple in the Bandai Ultra Act series. It'll be Ultraman Taiga and Ultraman Orb Dark. Noir Black Schwartz. So let's do Taiga first. Although not going in reverse chronological order, I guess. So the packaging kind of generic. Got a little bubble package with the picture of him doing his best attempt at a Storium Blaster with some decent posing and artwork. And sad Pac-Man right there. I think these are essentially like the generic action figure line over there for at least for Ultraman, because they have different things for Kamen Rider and Super Sentai. Because there's no accessories, there's kind of minimal paint, and the articulation's not like as good as it could be, but here's Taiga. I like Taiga's design. I love his head. The triple horns stands out the most. Got his yellow eyes from his father, and I guess his grandfather. I think father of Ultra has yellow eyes. Although I know Taro does, just with the creepy pupils like right here in the corners. Uh, yeah, the paint is minimal. It gets across the suit, but not nearly as much. Like to a lesser extent to than the figure art, because these are pretty cheap, around $8 to $10 cheap, and they still have way more articulation than say our generic Power Ranger figures over here. They're I'm trying. Hmm. I think the catching thing is the combination of his helmet or head and his chest plate. The blue lining kind of stand out to me the most. That and the fact that his suit is sort of an inverse of Ultraman Ginga's. To go with the fact that he's the Reiwa era's first Ultraman and kind of the Reiwa's version of Ginga. Although I'd have to actually look more closely at, like, compare side by side Taiga and Ginga. But articulation wise, I think his head's on a ball joint. Yes, on a ball joint. See the inner there. All right, Taiga, get your head on straight. So the 4G swivel, a little bit of up and down, a little bit of side to side. Nice range. Shoulders universal on a pin disc, so it can go all the way out, although it does bump into the hard plastic of his molded in armor. Fortunately, there's no paint on the back, but it can go all the way around, go out that far. You do get yourself a bicep swivel, an elbow. You get a wrist swivel, which unfortunately breaks up the sculpt of the. I should be wearing it, but the Taiga Spark. I forgot to put it on before, but unfortunately, you don't get a. It would be nice if you had a swivel right here, basically this joint, which is more than just your wrist, because your wrist is this forearm joint, and you have opening knuckles, which I don't even think any. Do I have? No. This is a legacy collection. Even he doesn't have an opening hand. This is like $30 of an American toy. This is $8 in Japan and gets you one hinge, but it's still more dynamic than just having a permanently clenched fist. You can actually express a little bit. You can look like it's why did you break his fingers? Nothing at the waist. Hips though go all the way forward, not quite all the way back. Like can't go back very far due to the butt plate. Sideways all the way. Unfortunately, it's kind of hard to do a good rider kick. I know it's Ultraman, but be quiet. Nothing at the thigh. No thigh swivel. Knee bend, 90 degrees. And a ball jointed ankle, which affords full range. He can kick you with his copyrighted foot or feet. And as the box showed off, he can pull off, he can sort of pull off. Not really, actually. It's very almost. You kind of gotta futz it to get a decent Storium blaster, but that's sort of it. Sort of. And I might as well mention the Taiga Spark is molded in black plastic, but not really painted. Although you can see the sculpting in it. And that's it for Taiga. Yeah, with the cheap line being no accessories or anything. So what you see right here is what you get. Now let's do Orb Dark. Noir Black Schwartz. Because I don't remember if they released Origin form or just Orb Origin in this line. I'm almost certain they did. And on the back, it just says Ultraman Orb Dark. Oh yeah, I didn't even show off the packaging. It's the same thing, just in a slightly different pose. Doing the Originium Ray and some more action poses. Now I haven't watched enough of Rube yet, but I have watched some to know that he's Orb Dark is kind of one of the most hilarious villains because at times he can be downright heinous, like make you hate him, but at the same time he's just so ridiculously goofy that it's like I want to hate you, but I'm also laughing at how stupid you are. Because, well, I think of how because the human is a like a wealthy businessman kind of CEO of a tech company kind of guy who also got possessed by an alien who was obsessed with Ultraman Orb. So he forced like basically tortured people in his company to make them create the powers required for him to turn into Orb Dark. It's kind of sadistic because you don't know if they actually died because they once they create the crystal or his little power, his little transformation item, they're never seen on screen again. So I guess it's like you don't know if they died or not. But this guy gets a bit more freedom given his sculpt. They chose Origin because it had no armor or anything, as opposed to say Spacium Zaperion or one of his other forms. I like how the only differences to the body are the things that would be blue on Orb are red, and what would be red is black. Like just a slight color palette swap. Aizen Makoto is just I I'm slightly struggling to get through Rube, but I'll marathon through it eventually. But opposability is a lot more freeing because you don't have the shoulder hindrance of the armor. But again, head's on a ball joint, shoulders are on a pin disc, swivel universal joint setup, go all the way out, go all the way around without any hindrance, bicep swivel, elbow, wrist hinge, finger hinge, hip, all the way out, hip, knee, ball joint, ankle, and you can actually pull off a good looking Originium Cose. Well, as good as you can look for this price point, and just nothing on the back really. Well, there's some silver on the back of his head, which is kind of badly applied, slightly overrun, but not much. I like these guys for what they are. They're cheap action figures of characters I like to watch. So I would recommend them to that extent if you want cheap action figures. But and they do pretty much every form, like every rider, not rider, Ultraman, Warrior of Light. They do a form for like a toy of every single one of his forms. Although I do plan to get the upgrade, the Tristorium for Taiga. If you want something with a bit more articulation, you'll have to go with figure arts. Even figure arts don't have the opening hand joints. Like that's, I don't know what about the hand joints sells me so hard, but the fact that they have them, you don't know, like you don't know what you were missing until you have it, sort of thing. And oh, that upcoming or soon to be released figure art of Ultraman Z looks really tempting. Like I'm not much of a figure arts guy. I have some, but I am highly tempted to buy that. And well, that would be enough of a video on its own. I do have a few minutes, so when else am I going to get a chance to talk about Ultraman Pop Vinyls? I actually found these in stores relatively recently. These were the only two I found, were Ultraman Jack and Ultraman Ace. Hold on, we'll grab their boxes first. Here's the box for Ultraman Jack. I know, Pop Vinyl. Ultraman available on this side of the world. I couldn't believe it. I immediately just... And here's a variety you get. You can find the original Ultraman, Father of Ultra, Jack, Ace, and a couple kaijus. I don't recognize Kanagon or Baltan. Or maybe no, I think I recognize Baltan. But also Ultraman Jack. And yeah, give you a shot of Ace's box. Same thing, just he's 767. And same thing. So let's talk about Jack first. He's very similar to the original Ultraman. And if I do find the older Ultraman, I'll do a comparison at some point. But like, here's why did they feel the need? They put the yellow eyes in, which are accurate, although they're not the right shape because they're not perfect spheres. They're like, it's the best way to. Do I have anything to represent? Well, they're that shaped. Their eyes are normally that shaped. You know, like eyes. They're like normal eyes. They're just clear. But like then they went and decided to add in the black dots for pop vinyl eyes over them. And that combined with the mouth, he looks He looks much more derpy than a proud, honorable warrior of light should look. It's hilarious. I have him and Ace basically watching over my laptop. All the design looks pretty good, like the line work and the coloring. His color timer is there, properly colored in. Nothing's missing on the back. You can see the sort of spine that they all have. Ears. So everything looks good. The head does the swiveling thing as it should. It's just the eyes are just the derpiest thing. And as I drop, sorry, Jackson. And here's Ace, noticeable for his much bigger head crest with a hole in it and a gem on top. And I don't know how well you'll be able to see, but I think there was a paint fleck or like paint scraped off his color timer. And he also is known for those bands around his head, leading to sort of looking like they're pierced ears. The little ball at the bottom of them. But again, the derpy face. It's just, it's so adorable. Like it fits with the Pop Vinyl looking really cute, but proud warriors of light, defenders of truth and justice and all that. It's just silly. And yet the head swivels. And on the back, all the looks. It, besides the color timer having that minor fleck that I can't tell whether it's extra paint that I could pick off or like the undercolor. I think it's the undercolor. But besides that, everything else looks good. And if you can find them, you can pick up some Ultraman Pop Vinyls. I do wish they were in a more pose, like when they're transforming, like hand fist in the air, or like an actual fighting pose. But instead of just it would be it would be a little better. Maybe some other wave can do that with an actual different pose. Well, it's still just hilarious to actually see Ultraman toys where I live on store shelves. And plus, Marvel's doing an Ultraman comic, which I'm gonna get whenever it comes out. So more Toku stuff in the West, please. I'm enjoying it. That's all the action figures I have for right now. I'm most likely gonna get more of these. Don't know when the next review of them will be, but yeah, thank you for watching. Hope you've enjoyed some cheap and just they don't cost a lot, but not cheaply made articulated action figures and some pop vinyls. And until next time, keep it weird. Bye.